This is a part 2 video from the book The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco. Today we are going to be exploring the sidewalk roadmap, and this roadmap might be the reason why you are always broke. Let's get into it. The first tip here is to explore what the sidewalk roadmap is. And so for someone who is a sidewalker or someone who belongs to this sidewalk roadmap, they do not have any financial plan. It doesn't exist at all, no plan, nothing. And so when the person gets surplus money or extra money, it's used to buy the next gadget, it's used to buy the next car, it's used to buy the next thing that they want or anything they have been wanting. So anytime extra money comes, they are using it to buy something. These people don't have any financial plan. The author indicates that the sidewalk is the most traveled road because, there's a road to least resistance, there's a road to instant gratification. You get money, you buy the next thing you want. Who has time to be planning for the future and 10 years and 20 years to come? Who knows how long you are going to live anyway? Just buy what you want with what money you have. And here you have to note that when we say a sidewalk, it doesn't mean people who are always poor. He says that some sidewalkers actually earn a whole lot of money. But the thing with sidewalkers is that they are usually one something away from being broke, one album away from being broke, one job layoff away from being broke, one business away from being broke. And so yes, they have a lot of money, but because there's no plan involved and it's usually instant gratification, buy what you can with what money you have at the moment. When something small happens, they are broke and they are living in the sidewalk lane. Someone who is a sidewalker has certain mindsets that I just want us to run through them as quick as possible. In case you are part of it, then you will start shifting your mindset away from these perceptions. The first is debt perception. For them, credit allows me to buy things I want now. They take loans to buy cars, take loans to buy things they want now. And so if I want something, I have to get it now. Credit allows me to enjoy life today, helps me to enjoy life to the maximum things I want. So a sidewalker is someone who is always in debt to buy things that pleases or fills them today. The next one is time perception, and for a sidewalker, time is an abundant thing they have. I spend my money like there's no tomorrow, because who knows, you might die tomorrow and you leave your money and people will spend it anyhow. And there has been this trend on social media recently where you hear people say that next of kin, they ask for price reduction. They are saying that when you die and leave your money, people spend it the way you want. So why not buy the things you want today? Why not spend the things you want rather than trying to save and invest and all those kind of things? The next thing is education perception, and for a sidewalker, as far as they finish school and they graduate, day and books are over. You would never see a sidewalker ever picking a book after graduation to read, to refresh their memory or learn certain things. When they are done and they graduate from school, that is the end. There are just so many perceptions with these type of people. Their goalpost is that let's live for today, let's live for now. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know what next year will bring. When you have money, spend it today anyways. Before we move to the next point, please, if you are finding value from this video, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Thank you very much. Let's continue. The second we are going to look at the symptoms of sidewalking, and are you on it? You decide. Someone who hasn't learned much since graduation from high school or college is probably a sidewalker. Someone who thinks that people who are rich either got it from their parents and they are lucky, or it's just circumstances that pull them to be rich, probably has a mindset of a sidewalker. Someone who is a sidewalker is easily impressed and usually seeks to impress others. Someone who is a sidewalker thinks short term. Someone who is a sidewalker puts their faith in politicians and governments to change their system instead of focusing on how they could make themselves better. And so the sidewalk is not the road in which you will be able to get wealthy. For them, it's usually casinos, maybe lottery tickets, if I could win the lottery, maybe an inheritance and all those kind of things. And for the sidewalker, for them, wealth is usually their income plus debt. And so it's very easy to identify sidewalkers. There are people who look rich from the outside, but deep down, they are living from paycheck to paycheck. And so with this, he gives examples that sometimes you can see someone who earns $2 million a year still being broke and not able to manage their money compared to someone who earns $20,000 a year. And so for financial freedom, it's blind to income. It's about financial management. If you lack financial management, it doesn't matter how much you earn in a year or you earn in a month or in a week or in a day. until you learn how to manage your finances. Even if you earn billions of dollars, you will still find a way to be broke because you will always buy the next thing that is appealing to your eye. And so only a mindset change regarding money is a solution to money problems. The third point we want to discuss is actually a question, which is, has your wealth been toxified? How do you define wealth? What do you mean by wealth? Society has made us to believe and think that wealth is the physical things we see, the number of cars you have, the number of houses you live in, the kind of mansion you live in, the kind of shoes, designer bags, designer clothes you wear. But what is wealth to you? Has wealth been toxified? And so the author says that wealth is not authored by possessions, money, and stuff. And he defines wealth using the 3 F's: family, fitness, and freedom. Family as in your relationships, fitness as in your health, and freedom as in the choices you make. And so within this trinity is where you can find true wealth and, yes, happiness. Because if you have family and friends, and not just friends, but a community of people, whether spiritual or not, that you'll be able to talk with and laugh with and have discussions with, it's a form of wealth. If you are fit, you're able to go to the gym and work out and all that, it's a form of wealth. If you have the freedom to choose, choose what to do with your time, choose what to do with your day, it's a form of wealth. And the society has made us to feel like wealth is something we can buy at a mall, at a car dealership, at the next Louis Vuitton shop. The next point is that misuse money and money will misuse you. There's a quote that says that money can't buy you happiness, but it can make you awfully comfortable while you are being miserable. And so the author says that people who declare money don't buy happiness have already concluded that they would never have money. And so here he says the irony is that when most people earn more money, it doesn't really provide them with the happiness they thought it would have. It rather distracts from them. And that is why you would have to define wealth based on family, fitness, and freedom. And studies have shown that the happiest people in the world are usually not even people with the highest amount of money, but people with a tight sense of community and family bonds. And so after our basic needs have been met, that is food, shelter, health, the happiness quotient shifts to people who have friendships, families, spirituality, people who have a sense of community. And that is why you will see millionaires who are very miserable, unless you have a sense of community, unless you have, unless you know the things that constitute wealth. If you think it has to be money, after you have made all the money, you realize that actually happiness cannot be found in it, but there are other more important things, and you see a void in yourself you cannot fulfill, or you can't fill it even with the amount of money you have. And so here we have to learn to know the proper use of money. Money doesn't buy us happiness, especially when it's misused. Instead of money to buy you happiness, it ends up buying you bondage. But the author is saying that wealth and happiness can be interchangeable. It can be synonymous to each other, depending on what your definition of wealth is, and not you being corrupted by what society's definition of wealth and success is. And so if money is used properly, it actually buys you freedom, and freedom also gives you the ability to have choices. And he indicates that there are lots of poor people who actually live richer lives than most middle class people, because sometimes you have a job and you have to be stuck in traffic for 3 hours to get to your job, work for 8 hours, stuck in another traffic for 3 hours before you get home. Your health is deteriorated, you don't have time for family and friends, and your relationships are just getting worse and worse and worse. And even if you have made money, that doesn't still mean you are wealthy. Another important thing I want us to talk about is affordability when it comes to money. The author says that when you think you can afford it, then you can't. So the author says that affordability is when you don't have to think about it. So how do you know that you can afford something? When you are able to pay for the thing, and no matter what happens in the future, there are no really consequences concerning the thing. For example, if I buy a gum today for 2 cedis and I even lose my income in 1 week time or in a month time, I will not regret that because I bought gum, now I don't have money and all sorts of things. But if I had decided to, let's say, buy a car and I lose my job within the next week or the next month, and I have to sell the car and all those kind of things, that means I didn't have the ability to actually really afford the car. So affordability is when you can easily buy something without necessarily thinking about it. Buying gum at the roadside, you know, buying something, sausage somewhere, just buying something that you don't necessarily have to think about it and plan about it before you can buy it. And so let's try as much as possible to avoid wealth impersonation, in that you don't have to, if you cannot afford something, you shouldn't be forced to buy it because everyone else is buying it. Get to know what your affordability is. It doesn't mean if you have 100 cedis in your account and whatever you are going to buy is 100 cedi. It means you cannot really afford it, because after that, what happens next? What are you going to depend on? But whatever you were going to buy, if it was 5 cedis and you know that buying it doesn't really affect your income, then that means you can afford it. And so sometimes some things may look good and feel good, but you can't afford it. You can work towards buying it in the future. The fifth and final point is wealth demands accountability. Winston Churchill says that responsibility is the price of greatness. In the previous points, we spoke about affordability, and sometimes we make certain life decisions that are not really wise choices, but here we are saying that you have to be responsible for certain decisions and choices you make, and you have to be accountable to it too. Maybe you made decisions in the past or even at the present that is resulting to so many other things. It can be affecting your money or other areas in your life, and so you have to make choices. You have to be responsible and accountable enough to know that, okay, it was as a result of maybe my bad choices that led me, or it was as a result of me being lazy or procrastinating or other things. So here, to be able to build wealth, then you have to learn to be accountable. You have to learn to be accountable to yourself. You are the one sitting at the driver's seat driving your life, so you have to learn to be accountable to be able to build wealth and save money. This is a sidewalker lane, and as we have seen a lot of things, the sidewalker is someone who doesn't think for the future. The sidewalker thinks for today. When they get money, they spend it today. After all, who knows what will happen tomorrow? You don't want to be in the sidewalker lane. Thank you so much for watching. This is part 2 of the Millionaire Fast Lane series. I have made part 1, in which I will link it. If you haven't watched it, you want to go back and watch it. And yes, I'll be bringing you part 3, part 4, part 5, and even part 6 later. So you want to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and I'll see you later. Bye.